Hey y'all, I'm Melissa Guerra. I'm the Kitchen Wrangler, and this week we are not talking about a recipe, we are talking about a technique. And sometimes you have to learn these techniques so you can make your recipe better, but you know you can make all your cooking better if you subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. You know I'm always looking forward to seeing you here at the ranch. So that's right, this week we are talking about a technique, and that technique is how to roast chiles. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get started on this really handy technique. Now, why would you want to roast a chile? You would think, well, chiles have enough flavor on their own. But you know, sometimes if you're running short on ingredients or you want to keep things really simple, you can roast a chile and give the chile a completely different flavor. So that's the beautiful side of roasting chiles. Now, there's a lot of precautions though as well, because if you have lung problems, if you are in a confined environment, all of these things can cause problems for you and your health, because chiles will emit fumes while they are roasting. And the more potent chiles, like chile habanero or chile piquin, those can absolutely overwhelm you. So if you have breathing problems, you might want to skip this technique altogether. But if you have a really well ventilated kitchen, or if you want to use the barbecue pit outside, those are all great options if you want to roast chiles. How long does it take to roast a chile? Well, it's actually very quick. It takes from 30 to 60 seconds. You never want to roast a chile more than 60 seconds. So I prefer to think of it more like toasting a chile. You just give it a little bit of toast and that is it. That is all you need. Beyond 60 seconds, they actually burn and they taste terrible. I know this from experience. Burnt chiles taste awful and they make you sneeze. Don't sneeze. Or sneeze when you need to sneeze, but anyway, you get my point. There are two basic types of chiles. You have dried red chiles and you have green fresh chiles. So let's look at the red dried chiles first. I went to the supermarket and I found chile ancho, chile guajillo, chile pasilla, chile chipotle, chile de arbol, and of course chile piquin. I always have these here at the house. Not all of these are candidates for toasting. Dried chile chipotle is usually smoked, so it's got a lot of flavor and they're very, very potent, so I wouldn't toast those at all. Chile piquin is extremely potent, so forget that, and plus they're really tiny and they roll all over the place. It's a mess. I don't recommend toasting those either. So what does it look like if you want to toast a chile ancho, chile guajillo, chile pasilla, or chile de arbol? Instead of coating the chiles with any type of vegetable oil, we're simply going to add some vegetable oil to a pan. I'm using a really gorgeous steel pan that I love using. Cast iron is fine too, stainless steel, but I wouldn't use aluminum. I would use a really heavy pan. Just add a little bit of olive oil, let it heat up. You can always do that little splash test with water to see if the oil is heated enough. Add your chile and toast it for about 30 seconds. See if it's toasted enough, and if it's not, then just give it another 30 seconds. For these dried red chiles, the toasting time is all pretty much the same. If you try this technique and it does irritate your lungs, you can actually toast them under the broiler in your oven. That does contain the fumes just a little bit better, but the toasting time is the same, 30 to 60 seconds, and keep an eye on them because they will burn really quickly. Once your dried red chile is toasted, you need to remove the top and the seeds. It's not easy to do that with chile de arbol, so I usually just leave the seeds in them, but I do remove the top stem. Once it's toasted, you add it to a blender, add a little bit of water, some salt, and make a smooth puree. And now it's ready to add to your soups, your stews, anything you like. And you'll notice it just has a slightly richer, more toasty flavor. It just kicks it up a notch. Did I actually just say that? I did actually just say that. Sorry, Emerald. Hang in there to the end and I will show you how to make a hot salsa for your table to serve with your tacos. Super easy, and we're gonna make them out of dried chile de arbol. But let's talk about those fresh green chiles. Again, I was at the supermarket and I found a wide variety of chiles. We have chile serrano, chile jalapeno, chile poblano, shishito peppers. Oh yeah, they're all in the same family, even though these are favored in Japan. These are still part of the chili family. And we have bell peppers. Every different type of chile has been cultivated to produce a different dish, and so they all have slightly different reactions to the roasting and toasting process. Bell peppers are full of water and really crunchy and have zero spice. I don't like roasting them too much because I don't think it improves the flavor, but it does help you remove the peel very easily. And if you're removing the peel, you're removing the roasting flavor, so it's not my favorite pepper to roast. I'm not a big fan of roasting green chile jalapeno either, and I'll tell you why. Out of all the chiles, chile jalapeno, the flavor really is best when you pickle them in vinegar. That's why you see pickled jalapenos all over the place. That particular chile is great with vinegar, and I just don't think roasting does all that much for it. You can do it. I mean, I'm not the police. I'm not gonna come to your house and tell you not to do it. That's just my experience. So if we take away the chile jalapeno and the bell pepper, then we're left with the shishito pepper, the chile poblano, and the chile serrano. Now, I love roasting chile serrano, and it roasts exactly the same way as our dried red chiles. You add a little bit of olive oil to a pan, you make sure that the pan is really hot, you toss the chile in there for 30 to 60 seconds, and then it's done. Now, if you have a bunch of chile serrano that you want to roast, I prefer to put a skewer through them, and then you can turn them very easily all at once. Shishito peppers are pretty easy. You just toss them in a pan with a little bit of olive oil. They roast or toast in about 30 seconds, 60 seconds, and then they're done. Chile poblano, that is a different cat altogether. Should I say cat? No, it's a different pepper altogether. And the purpose of chile poblano, for the most part, is for stuffing. You can stuff it with ground meat or cheese, and sometimes you can cut it into strips and serve that, and you have to remove the outer peel. So just like removing the skin from a bell pepper, you can roast a chile poblano in order to remove the skin from that. And I don't like using a pan for chile poblano. I like to put them directly on the flame of my stove. Now, all the other chiles that we have looked at so far have been too small to put directly on the flame of the stove, but a chile poblano, it can sit right on the hob and it'll roast. And it only takes about 2 minutes to roast the entire chile poblano. It's a bigger pepper, it takes longer. Once the chile is nice and roasty and toasty all the way around, you wrap it in a towel and let it sweat and steam for usually about 10 minutes. After that, the skin peels off super easy, and we're gonna slice it open and turn it a little bit inside out, remove the seeds, and then I like to dip it in water to make sure I get all the little bits of charred skin and all of the seeds. And now it's ready for stuffing or slicing into strips. Easy enough. We did a lot. It might have seemed like if we didn't do a recipe, we weren't really doing a lot of work, but that was a lot of work. You learned how to roast and toast about what, 10, 11 different varieties of chiles? It was a ton. I almost forgot I was gonna show you how to make a nice salsa for the table using your toasted chile de arbol. We're gonna add them to a blender with a little bit of water, some salt, and some seeded tomatoes. We're gonna puree it very well, and then we're gonna add some extra olive oil to our pan and pour the sauce back into the pan. We're gonna let it simmer for about 10 minutes to reduce all of the water in the tomato sauce. That is ready for the table. This is gonna be hot as heck gets. Can I say hell? Can I say hell on YouTube? It's gonna be hot as hell. Thanks so much for joining me here at the ranch. And you know, if you have any questions, you can always email me at help@kitchenwrangler.com, or you can message me through TikTok, through Twitter, through Instagram, through Facebook, through where else? Oh, through YouTube. I'm here, and make sure that you subscribe. I'm Melissa Guerra. I am the Kitchen Wrangler, and I'm looking forward to seeing you here at the ranch again soon. Bye now.